Hi everyone. So this is part 3 out of a series that has 4 parts in it. I had made one video for all of you and it ended up being too long, so it needed to be re-edited. And that's why I had to reshoot these transition pieces, and it might look a little bit choppy, but know that the information is really good. Now we'll be talking about a few ideas that you can follow on what do you do when you bring all that food home from the grocery store. How do you prep it and how do you store it? There is, given how much food is wasted in our country, I think it's very important to learn how to store your food well so that it lasts you a long time. So I have a bunch of different suggestions for you to follow. So I hope it really helps you out. Let's take a look and make sure you watch part 4 as well. Okay, great. So you have made a few changes to your lifestyle. You have gone to the grocery store, you've bought all this stuff, and now you've brought it home. What do you do? So putting it in the refrigerator, the refrigerator has different zones. Now the door is the warmest, so it's best to keep your condiments and things like that there. The upper shelves have the most constant temperature, so keeping dairy products over there would be a good idea. And then you have the bottom shelves, which are usually the cooler part of the fridge, so you can keep your meats there. The back of the fridge can be the coolest, so if there are things you need to keep really cool, just push it back there. Crisper drawers usually retain some moisture, and so keeping your fresh produce over there would be a good idea. Okay, so how do foods ripen? And so if you look at, when you buy an avocado, you might have seen online that if it's not ripe, put it in a brown paper bag and just roll it up and keep it, and that it'll ripen in there. You might have noticed that if you keep one ripe banana with the rest of your new bananas, that the new ones start ripening as well. These foods release something called ethylene gas, and that is what helps ripen things around them. So apples, avocados, ripe bananas, potatoes, all of these release this gas. So it is best to keep them away from things that don't release it. In general, keep fruits away from vegetables. That's a good idea. If you have the space in your fridge, 2 separate drawers, fruits go in one, and vegetables go in the other one. That'll make a big difference. What we also do with bananas when we bring them home is we separate them rather than leaving them in the bunch. That helps slow things down a little bit. They're still kept close enough that they will continue to ripen, but we've also noticed that when they're really ripe and you're trying to get them off the bunch, sometimes you can like break another one off and then that goes brown faster. And just to prevent all of that, we just separate them from the bunch as soon as we bring them home. When they're unripe or close to being ready, we just separate them so that they're ready to go when we need them. Another great thing to do is if you eat bread at home, you can just save the ends that you don't like, or the pieces you don't like, or the crust, or whatever reason. If you're cutting bits and pieces of the bread off, save them in a freezer bag in your freezer. If you have any herbs that you think are going to go bad, put them in that bag. If you have any cheese bits and pieces that you aren't eating, put them in the bag. When you have enough of it, pulse that down in your food processor, and that makes the best breadcrumbs. You might not get the most consistent one between the bags because it depends on which bread, what herbs, all of that. But it makes the best breadcrumbs to like top over pasta, or just toss it over any food, and it really helps just sort of freshen things and give it an extra punch. So that's something we like to do at home. Now we have a compost bin here in our house, and we have a garden that we're trying to grow, so we're hopeful to use all of that up. But if you don't have a compost bin, what we used to do before that we were able to do that was to put all the odds and ends of the vegetables just in a bag in the freezer. So your onions, the ends of onions, just make sure the peels are off. The onions, scallions, garlic, the ends, whatever. We used to just put all of it, celery, peppers, the seeds. So we used to just put all of that into a bag in the freezer, and then when the bag got full or when we had time, we would take all of it out, put it in a big stock pot, fill it with water and let it go. And that made really yummy stock that you can make right at home, and you don't need to buy the packaged stuff. So that is an option. It does take a little bit of time, so it depends on if you're able to do it. It was only when we were feeling very ambitious for that day that we would, take on something like that. But it's not always possible. But it is a great way to make sure you're using all parts of the plant and you're not letting anything go waste. So you're using up all that money you're spending, you're getting the most out of it that you can. So let's talk about herbs. And these tend to go bad very quickly. So how can you have them last longer, because they are expensive. It's not easy to do that. For soft stemmed herbs, like you have your cilantro and your mint and things like that, what I do is when I get home, just take them out of the package, take the band around it off, go through and make sure there aren't any bad pieces in there. So you're just sort of looking through very quickly. It's not anything detailed, but you're just taking the bad things out, and then you just take the entire thing and you stick it in a ball jar of water like this, or a cup, or anything that that can hold water for you. And then the bag that it came in, just put that back up. And now this can go in the fridge, and this cilantro will last you much longer than if you just took the bag and dumped it in your fridge as soon as you came home. So this can really help. Soft stemmed herbs last much longer. If you have basil, keep that out of the fridge. That stays countertop. And then you have the harder stemmed herbs like thyme and rosemary. I haven't found the easiest way to get the leaves separated from this yet. I'd seen something about using a colander and putting the stems through it to try and get the leaves out. I didn't succeed with that very much. Maybe it was just a person, thing, but that's, I haven't figured that out yet. But a way to store it, if you do buy it, is just get all the bits off of it, the leaves off of it, and use a little bit of oil and put it in a blender or a food processor and just mince it up really well. And then put it and just make a log out of it in some wax paper. You can use butter or dairy-free butter as well, and just make a log out of it and put that in the freezer. Anytime you need it, you just slice a little bit off. It's going to have some fat and the herb right in there, but that makes it last much longer than just keeping this in your crisper drawer, because that can definitely go bad if you don't use it. Even for these, whether they come in these packets or they come in the bags, make sure you go through, and if there are any bad bits, just take that out, because if there's something bad in there, it's going to help all the others go bad much faster. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, ginger. This is a colossal piece of ginger that we found in the store. I just had to buy it. But ginger, you can actually take it. This is very clean ginger. You can just take this, put it in a freezer bag, and just put it in your freezer. If it's dirty when you buy it, just use a brush or something and clean the skin off. You don't need to wash it. You don't need to peel it. Put it in your freezer. Anytime you need it, grate it into whatever you need it for, and it works the exact same way. It tastes just as delicious. When you're freezing things, just make sure that you squeeze out as much air out of the bag as you can, and that will make it last really nicely. Garlic, you can get the stuff with the skin, peel on it. You can get unpeeled garlic you can get peeled garlic as well. Whichever one works for you. We have a mix of both at home depending on who's cooking. Sometimes I'm lazy and I just want something I can grab very quickly. So that also, what you can do is put that in a processor or a blender and just mush it up completely. Again, put it into some wax paper and roll it up, make like a log out of it, put it in your freezer. When you need it, just grate it. Freezing whole garlic just like this, I've noticed, makes it I don't know, I think it changes the flavor a little bit. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I've noticed that pulsing it up and freezing it as a log works much better. So that's something you can do. I'm Indian. We use ginger garlic paste very often, ginger and garlic paste very often in our cooking. So what I actually do, and this might seem crazy, is I go to Costco, has those 3 pounds of peeled garlic. I actually buy one of those, and then I buy 3 pounds of ginger, and I make 6 pounds of ginger garlic paste, and I store that in just my fridge in mason jars at the back of the fridge. It just stays there, and that lasts for, like, I do that maybe once a year or maybe twice, once at the beginning and once towards the end of the year. It doesn't go bad. It's ginger and garlic. There's nothing else in it. I use very little water while I'm making the paste. I do have a good blender, so I know I'm lucky there. But it really helps have all of this available and ready to go. It doesn't go bad and it lasts for a long time. Okay, so for storing your greens, what can you do? When you get them in bags or you get them in boxes like this, the best thing you can do is open it up and go through and make sure if there are any ones that look yellow or they look like they're going bad, get that out. If there are leaves stuck to that one, make sure you get rid of that as well. And then what you can do is put some paper towel. If you can wrap it in paper towel loosely and keep it, that's great. That's using a lot of paper towels. So you can just put a paper towel at the bottom and put the leaves on there, and that can just sort of help absorb the moisture and help it last longer. So that's what I like to do with my greens. When you buy tomatoes, tomatoes should stay on the counter until you start seeing that they're going soft. If you haven't had a chance to use them yet, then it can go in the fridge. But otherwise, they will last longer if you leave them outside. Mushrooms, when you buy mushrooms, if you buy them whole, now you get like sliced mushrooms in certain stores, and those are very convenient. But make sure you buy them just before you're going to be using them, or at this moment if you're buying them for a 2-week period when you're shopping, make sure you use them up in the first few days. But if you're buying whole mushrooms and keeping them, don't wash them or anything like that at that moment. Just open the plastic bag up a little bit so it has a way to dry out. And then before you use them, if they're not very dirty, just use a brush and just dry brush all of them, and that should work. If they do have clumps of dirt on them, then you do need to wash them, but make sure you dry them well also. And then for things like asparagus, these very delicious, but they can go bad quickly. You can do two things. I've done it and read about it both ways. You can just, when you hold asparagus and you bend it from the bottom and hold it anywhere on top here, wherever it snaps, this is fibrous, the end, so you don't use that. So you can go ahead and do that to a bunch of them, and then you just take them and put them in a mug filled with water. And now these will last in the fridge much longer than if you just left them in the bag. So again, delicious vegetables, very healthy for you, good way to make them last longer. You can cut the ends off if you want, the way I showed you by snapping them, or you can just put the whole asparagus in there and snap the ends off just before you cook them. That's fine as well. But it really helps you not get that fibrous bit of asparagus. Sometimes asparagus can seem chewy or just sort of gritty or whatever, but snapping the ends off like this really avoids that. Another tip for asparagus is that if you don't want to snap that off, because I know some people will think you're losing too much of the asparagus there, you can use a peeler and just peel the ends until you get rid of the fibrous stuff and you start seeing the softer bit inside, and that way you get to use a lot bigger portion of the vegetable. That's also possible. It just takes a little longer in terms of prep work, so it's totally up to you which you can work with at that moment. Well, thank you for watching that. Like I said, this was part 3 of 4. And part 4 deals with meal prepping at home and what to do with leftovers. I also talk about what you can do with prepackaged foods just to give it an extra punch of nutrients and flavor. So definitely make sure you take a look at that. If you have any suggestions for topics or you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to leave a comment here on our YouTube page. You can contact us through Facebook as well as our website. Please subscribe to the channel so that you stay updated with all the information and any new videos that we post here. Thank you for your time. Be well.